4 years ago, out of nowhere, my husband was diagnosed with leukemia. We ended up in the hospital. We were there an entire year.
My son was diagnosed with a glioblastoma. His brain was bleeding, and he got rushed to the hospital, and he needed to have like 4 surgeries to just stabilize him.
Summer of 2017, I was blessed to be able to host a great event for children with cancers. Again, we had 200 kids on our rooftop. 4 or 5 months later, I got diagnosed.
When we hear that somebody isn't well, our automatic thought is, are they gonna live? And if the prognosis is that they're going to live, so a lot of us just take it out of our mind and we move forward. Maybe we say Tehillim for the person. What people don't realize is the journey is intense. And the journey requires help in so many different ways.
They don't realize how much it tears the whole entire family. And a parent suffers more than the child himself when they see their child hurting.
Out of the blue, I get this phone call. It was about a month after my husband was diagnosed, and it's this guy Zelig, and he wanted to do something special for my kids who were going, through a medical challenge with my husband. He threw this amazing party. He brought this guy that, was blowing up balloons. He brought musicians, a magician, and tons of food. And he really brought simcha to my kids.
Zelig called me like that second day or whatever when my head was all over the place. And he's like, we want to come over. I'm like, I can't even focus right now. He's like, just let me come. I'm sending people. And they just showed up at my house. They came dancing, magicians, clowns, just toys, singing, dancing with my son.
Next thing you know, he calls me, "What's your problem, Joey?" I explained to him what I was going through. And before you know it, I was getting calls from various doctors and influential Jewish people. And when I got to see Dr. Zalewski, who's the top radiation guy, he says to me, "I got the message. You're an important person who I must take care of."
As a volunteer for Tantzers and as a middleman between a lot of people in our community and Zelig, I do get feedback, and the feedback is always so positive. The feedback is always, what did we do before Tantzers? How did we survive what we went through? How did we get through this without Zelig calling us up and saying, what do you need? And sending these events to their house, from food to entertainment, to balloon guys, to magicians, to fire in the mouth and sword throwing.
A few months after that, it was time for my daughter's bat mitzvah. He found out about it, and he called me and said, "What could we do for you?" The party that they threw was insane. There wasn't a dry eye in the party. Everybody was so emotional. There was food for a DJ. He made these magnets of pictures for all the girls.
They would bring all kinds of puppets and swords in the mouth and fire, to the point where I would call Zelig and I'm like, send the boys, would come, send guys no matter what, whenever I asked.
So this past October was my son's bar mitzvah, and it's been a few years since my husband passed, and he showed up that morning with his volunteers, and it was so special.
Zelig is a person I can't even describe. He is so hopeful and bright, but at the same time, he's with you in the pain and in the fear.
They're looking for chesed to do. They pick up the phone, who could we help, what could we do? And they go above and beyond.
He's doing every event without asking for $1. And now is our turn to help him out and get these events continuing, because these families can't live without it. They can't get through these challenging times without Zelig. I've seen it this way and I've seen it that way, and the difference is undescribable.
To see any child smiling, for me is just amazing, but especially a child who's going through a hard time, to see a child who's suffering smiling, that means so much more.
So the journey of getting someone well and the journey of going through a difficult time is not just about where it's headed and what the result is going to be. It's about making the process as positive and as energized, as happy as possible. That's the goal, and that's the mission of Tantzers.
So if you're ever in a medical situation, a medical struggle, and you need someone to uplift you, Tantzers is who you need to call. They're probably gonna pick up the phone and find you before you even, try to find them. Really, Zelig, Tantzers, everyone at Tantzers, what you're doing is incredible. For me, my kids, my family will never forget.
Zelig and the Tantzers have a special gift. They know how to bring joy and laughter to those people that are most distressed and in need, changing their lives, changing their perspective. If you have an opportunity to be able to support them, I promise you, you are doing one of the biggest mitzvahs out there.